Let's talk strategy. And I'm not talking about the kind that makes false promises about making you $100 a day or uses complex indicators to make it work. I'm talking about something that is easy, reliable, and works for both crypto and stocks. Yes, you have to put in the work, make mistakes, and learn, but that's what makes us a better trader and ultimately helps us learn what works and what doesn't work for us. I'm super excited for this topic, not only to share my strategy, but also to walk through my favorite charting software that I have used for years on both my PC and my mobile, and that's TradingView. I'm going to be showing you exactly how to use it, all my different tips and tricks, and why it's definitely worth you checking it out. So if you like TradingView as we're going through it, there's a link below in the description that'll take you to their site so you can take advantage of this deal. And the cool thing is that I've been doing each year is that you can renew during Black Friday next year and get the Black Friday deal again. So now is a great time to sign up if you haven't already. But don't just take my word for it now. As we go through this buy strategy, I'm going to be walking through exactly how I use TradingView, and you'll see just how awesome it is. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this strategy. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Brian Logan. I am so thankful that you are here. Before we dive in, a few things. First, there is a lot of content in this video. I put timestamps below so you can jump around as needed. I also have a blog, brianlogan.com, where we're going to be posting a transcript of this whole video and any visuals that you see. And I've also started a Discord channel, so if you have any questions, feel free to comment below or head over to this Discord channel and we can continue to chat there. And lastly, as a quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor or expert, and all things crypto and stocks involve risks, so be sure to understand those before getting involved. So as I think about strategy, I like to think about it in three parts. First is finding the setup. Second is determining your entry, your stop, and your target price. And lastly is managing the trade, both your risk and profit. And I feel like this is something that people don't really talk about when they talk about strategies. It's usually about exactly how to get in and buy and maybe how to set up a stop loss, but not what happens as the trade evolves. So we're going to be talking that today, and I'm really excited to show you that. And this is the strategy that I use and really enjoy and find a lot of success with. And what I like to call it is a buy, stop, breakout. So what does that really mean? The first part of it helps me understand the direction and the order type that I'm doing, a buy, stop. If you have more questions about order types, I've actually created a video that I'll link above that has a lot of great information on all the different types of buy orders that you can do. And there's also a video on sell orders after that. So be sure to check those out if you have questions on different order types. So that first part is the direction we're doing, buy, and buy, stop is the type of order that we're using. The second part of the name, breakout, is the type of trade we're going to be trading, a breakout trade. This simply means that we're looking to buy when the price breaks out of a trading range. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, that's kind of the point. It's simple, it works, and it's repeatable. The thing you got to remember is to stay disciplined, look for the right setups, and really focus on managing your trade correctly. So with that, let's jump over to TradingView. Let me show you all the cool things that TradingView does, why I absolutely love it, and why you should be using it too. Don't forget, there's that link below if you want to go check it out. All right, so here we are in TradingView on the desktop, and really mobile looks pretty similar. It's just more condensed on your phone. So for those of you who are new and haven't seen this before, on the left-hand side of the screen are an unbelievable amount of drawing tools and measurement tools, and everything that you can imagine that you would need to do on a chart is over here on the left-hand side. On the top is a little bit of information about what chart we're looking at, as well as the option to compare it to another coin or stock, all different indicators, your MACDs, your stochastics if you're into all that stuff, and a lot of other things including alerts and templates and all sorts of stuff. And then we have our main chart in the center here, which just right now is a candlestick chart showing of Ethereum as well as the volume by day. And then on the right-hand side of the screen is where we keep our watch lists, alerts, as well as how to interact with the community on TradingView. So as we think about the first step, which is finding the setup, we need to have a watch list or coins to go through in order to find a good trade. So up here on TradingView, you have a list of all your different watch lists, which is really great. So I have different watch lists for my taxable dividend accounts, my Roth dividends, my HSA, and keep track of all those different stocks. I can keep track of all my trades and really dive into each of one of those accounts separately. So for crypto here, I've got a list of my crypto assets. These are focused more on high market cap crypto coins. I don't have a lot of altcoins in this list right now. So what this allows us to do is flip through and keep an eye on our chart to try to find a good opportunity for a breakout trade. Now, before we jump into finding a good one, we need to have a quick refresher on support and resistance, as those are critical to this breakout strategy. All right, so a quick reminder on support and resistance, because this plays such a big role in this type of trade. So support is where the price action is unable to break down below a certain price, because there are a lot of buyers that are propping up the price at that price level. That is a level of support, helping to keep the price above a certain area. A resistance area, which is super important for this trade, is a price action area where the price cannot break above it because there are so many sellers putting downward pressure on the price. So the idea being that once it does break out of that resistance line, all of the sellers that were pushing that price down are gone so that the price can continue to move up in a momentum trade. So now let's jump back over to TradingView. So now that we have support and resistance lines on the mind as well as our watch list ready to go, I typically just flip through and start looking for areas of support and resistance in order to find an opportunity for a breakout trade. Now this is a very visual exercise, which is why I like it, and it's also pretty easy to do. And one of the other great things that TradingView allows you to do is actually look over multiple time frames at the same time. So one way to do that is you can add another chart to the main page that you're looking at. So for instance, this is Ethereum at a daily level. You can see the D up here, or this is Ethereum at a weekly level, the 1W up here. So what this allows us to do is it just cleans up the support and resistance lines at a longer term level to help you understand exactly what are the strongest support and resistance lines. So for instance, if we wanted to look at this weekly chart first, we could say, hey, it looks like there's a pretty strong resistance around this 4,000 level. So I like to typically come up here and draw a line to help visualize that resistance level. And then clearly there's a support line down here around just under the 2,000 mark. So usually I'll draw another line down there just for reference. And you can see as I'm drawing these lines on the weekly chart, they pop up on the daily chart as well. And what this helps us do is think about our trades going forward and where we might think about some really strong breakout trades, as well as maybe areas to take profit as we approach these strong support and resistance lines. So that's support and resistance really fast at a really high macro level, focusing on the week and then diving into the day. But if we want to trade more on a daily level, maybe hold just for a few weeks, I typically focus on the daily chart next. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of one of these and just look at the daily. So as we look at this chart, there's a really obvious area that I wanted to show you as an example for support and resistance and this breakout trade. And the reason is it's a really clean setup, but then it also gives us the ability to step through the management of a trade, because ultimately it works out, but then the position goes against us. So I thought that was super critical to show you guys, because I think that's something that is missed by a lot of other teachers and trainers who go through this, is they skip out on the hard parts of the trade. So the area I'm talking about is right here. So this is the setup. We're going to use this little flag or channel here to demonstrate how this breakout trade works and then how to manage that trade. And the way we're going to do that that's really helpful is TradingView has this replay mode where you can actually go back in time. So we're going to hit replay and we're actually going to choose to go back somewhere, maybe here forward. So you can see how it eliminated the price from that day forward. So let's go ahead and zoom in and talk more about this. All right, so this is a great setup for a potential breakout trade. So the idea here is that we want to find areas where we can have a good defined support and resistance levels. So you can see I'm going to draw in here. So that's a really nice support level. We can see it hit once, twice, and about 3 times so far. And then our resistance is really clear right around this level here at the top. So you can see we've had a really good price movement. So what we want to do is take advantage of this channel or consolidation and buy the coin as it breaks out of this range. Now let's jump into step 2, which is determining our exact entry, target, and stop price. Quick break. Did you know that over 90% of you who are watching this aren't subscribed? Why not? If this is helping you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now so that you don't miss any more videos from me. All right, let's jump back into it. So I'm going to break this down into really easy steps so that it's repeatable. Now just keep in mind, everybody has a slightly different technique and choice of prices to use, but I'm going to do my best to try to explain why I choose the prices that I do. So the first step is thinking about what our buy price wants to be. And again, we're trying to buy as it breaks out of this consolidation period. So I'm going to add some text here for our first step is our entry price. The way I like to think about entry price is to set the price above the highest price in the consolidation period. And a pro tip beyond that, which I talked about in my buy and sell order videos, which I'll link above, is we want to avoid round numbers. And the reason for this is pretty simple, is that people like round numbers. And you might get in the trap of, if you use a round number, a lot of institutional traders or others may take advantage of that and trick you into getting into a trade because they'll place orders there and then reverse the market. So I typically found, and I have been saved numerous times by using my stops or my buy orders slightly off of nice round even numbers. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. Okay, so we need to find our highest price in the consolidation window. So this is our little bull flag area, and I can see that this candle had the highest price. So I'm gonna go scroll over that candle, and if you look in the top left of the screen here, you can see the OHLC. This simply means the open, the high, the low, and the close. So we're gonna look at the high price of that day. So if I scroll to that candle, we can see that the high price is 337.860. So we're gonna go with simply 33.81. So I'm gonna add another note here, 33.81 as our entry price. All right, so the next thing we need to do is think about our stop. So for our stop price or stop loss, the trick here is really choosing a price below a resistance level. So if you can set your stop below a resistance line, it might save you and keep you in the trade longer, but still protect you from any, significant downs. Another thing to keep in mind with stop losses is we can always move it up later. So as we look at this channel, I see a few areas of resistance. So the first one is certainly this main part of the channel. So certainly if the price dropped below this resistance, I would definitely consider that a failed trade. We also do have two other little resistance areas. There's one in this range, kind of here, this 3129 area, even down here to the 3100 area. And you can see that that's a repeated, if I move it out back a little bit, it kind of comes in this area as well. And you notice how it's snapping a little bit. I can change that by adjusting the magnet over here. So now I can actually just more freely adjust the price. For me, I'm going to keep it a little bit tighter in this scenario and use this support line as my stop loss. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this candle as my stop loss price. So I'm gonna use the low as 3,079. So that's already kind of an odd price, which is good, but I'm gonna go a little bit lower. So I'm gonna go 3,074. So that will be my stop. All right, so the last piece is thinking about our target. So our target price is gonna help us determine when is a great time to take some profits. Either close the entire position for a full profit or take some of our position off to lock in some profits. A good way to think about this is, where is the next resistance line? So let's zoom out and see. You can see this nice big resistance level right up here around this 4,000 mark. So again, everybody probably likes a big round number. While the price did go above 4,000, kind of reach 42, 4,300 at its all-time high, 4,000 is a really big psychological resistance level. So I'm going to go ahead and use 4,000 as my target price. Now, again, this doesn't mean I may close all my position. It might mean I may take some profits at that point, maybe move my stop up. There's a lot of different things you can do, and we're going to walk through some of that in a minute. But for now, it's just good to have a general idea of where your target price is. So we're going to go ahead and put that 4,000 as my target price for this trade. So before we move on to the third step, which is management, we're going to skip along kind of each day and see how we would manage this trade. The last thing I like to keep track of just before continuing is our risk to reward. So how we think about this is we look at our entry price of 3,381 and we subtract out our stop price of 3,074, which gives us a total risk of $307. Our reward is 4,000 minus the 3,381, or our entry price, which is $619. So it's helpful to know, if we were to buy 1 ETH in this scenario, that we would be risking $300 to make $619. So not bad, not the absolute best, but not a bad ratio to have. And remember, you can always move your stop up later in time. So this ratio could get even better, but it's always good to have a good risk reward ratio to start. All right, with that, we're gonna add one more thing to the graphic and then jump into how to manage that trade. And the thing we're gonna add is this really cool tool, which is this long position. So see, when we do that, it already creates this really cool red and green. So red is obviously we've lost money, and green is that we're making money. Now I think we're ready to go to the step 3, which is managing the trade. We're going to zoom in and we're going to keep an eye on what happens next. We're going to go up to our little replay thing here, and you can either click ahead or you can just do shift and the arrow keys and start shifting through each day. So let's click ahead and see what happens. Day 1, remember we're not in the trade, so nothing's happened so far. Day 2, nothing else has happened because we're not in the trade. Still not in the trade, still waiting. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this day we would have been triggered. And the cool thing too is on this day we saw a big spike in volume. So we didn't talk about volume too much, but volume is a great way to think about your trade being truly confirmed. So not only did we break through our price, we did it with a lot of volume, meaning there was a lot of trades on that day, which typically helps support the idea of a real breakout. So this is a really good sign. And on this day, we are officially in this trade. So what do we do now? For me, I don't like to overmanage my trades because you can get in a lot of trouble for that. So for now, we really just got in the trade. I'm going to leave our stop where it is. So let's see what happens next. Whoa, big green day. This is awesome. This is what we always hope for. So big green days are awesome because we're making a lot of money, and also it allows us to do one of the best things with trade management ever, and that is to completely eliminate all of our risk. And what I mean by that is this is a huge opportunity to take our stop from down here at 3,074 up to our break-even price, which is our 3,381. This means we can't lose money on this trade, which is the best feeling ever. Oftentimes, this doesn't happen. You don't typically get these massive green bar days. When they happen, you got to take advantage of it. So we're going to go ahead and move our stop up to our break even. So this is a phenomenal feeling, and it also really helps you manage the trade going forward because now you can no longer lose money on this trade. Obviously, we haven't locked in any profits yet, so we haven't made any money. But going forward, we can no longer lose money, which frees up a lot of mental capital because now we can psychologically think more realistically about this trade and not worry about the risk as much. So let's see what happens next. A slight pull-in day, that's not uncommon after a large, big run. All right, another big day and up to that $4,000 mark. So if we had set a stop limit order target on that first day, that would have been triggered on this day because the price got to that $4,000 mark. So with that, you could have been out of this trade today if you sold your entire position at that $4,000 mark. And you can see TradingView shows what our target was of the 619, which was an 18.31% gain. Now, I want to spend just a few more minutes and go a little bit deeper because I think it's super important that some people, and the way that I trade is I like to keep a position going, especially in crypto, because there's an opportunity that it will just continue going up. So instead of selling the entire position at the 4,000, I may have sold only 50% or 75% of the position and kept 25% of my position left over. So what that means is if I would have bought 1 ETH at this 33.81, I may have sold up here 0.75 and still had 0.25 Ether left. So just for the sake of completeness, let's assume that we sold 75% of our position and we still have 25% left. So now moving forward another day, let's see what happens. All right, so we get another red day off of that 4,000, which again is not surprising. At this point, with only 25% of our position left, we could keep our sell order at our break even. So again, we could never lose any money on the trade, or we could look to move this position up to a higher resistance level so that we don't feel bad about this 25% of our position going from all the way up here at 4,000 down to our beginning mark and not making any money on it. So that's what I would do. I would go ahead and move my stop up to this line of around, looks like it's around 3,700. So I'm gonna put my new stop for the remaining of my 25% of my position up right around this level. And again, the reason for that is I do wanna remain in the trade, but because this green bar was so big and we've put in a new higher low, this is a reasonable area to have a new stop. Because knowing crypto, it could turn around and it could really drop fast, or it could really just keep going. And now I've actually locked in additional profits on that 25% because it will never drop back to my beginning price. All right, with that, let's move forward and see what happens. All right, so we're staying right around this 4,000, and I'm feeling even better about moving my stop up because it's starting to consolidate around this 4,000 and we might see a drop, which sure enough we do. Now, we knew the future on this one, but I will say that I would have played this exactly like how I described it. So on this day, we would have been stopped out right at this price and we would have locked in profits for that last 25% of our trade. So did we lose out on some gains by keeping 25%? Yes, but this red bar may have not have happened and the coin could have continued up and it would have been great to continue to have some profit churning in. So that's where this basic trade gets taken a little bit to the next advanced level. And I hope having some insight to that helps you break through that barrier of taking it from a beginner to an intermediate type trade style. Again, you could totally keep it simple back to what we had at the beginning and just get stopped out of your full position at $4,000 and lock in that whole 18.1%. That's fantastic. This is just a next advanced level way to think about your trades and how to manage breakout trades. All right, that was awesome talking through that strategy. Before my last final thoughts on that, I hope you got a chance to see just how awesome TradingView is. And to be honest, I really only scratched the surface. I've been using it for years and it's something you really need to go check out if you use charts at all. So feel free to check out that link below to go get that up to 60% off if it's Black Friday. And if Black Friday's passed already, you still need to use TradingView. The free version is really good as well, and you've got to check it out for all of your charting needs. All right, and with that, my last final thoughts on the buy strategy is I hope you find it helpful. I hope it's something that you can add to your arsenal. So as you start looking at charts and thinking about trading, it gives you a good sense of when to start getting into a trade and also a little bit of mindset about how to manage the trade as you go along. Now, again, this doesn't work 100% of the time. Everybody's going to be different. It takes discipline and learning about yourself and making mistakes and losing money. As hard as it is, that's the best way to learn. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you found that helpful. If you did, feel free to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. I'm Brian Logan. Remember to stay healthy, love your family, and elevate your wealth.